You're with Match Night on BBC Radio Suffolk. It's an 8 o'clock kick-off for Ipswich Town on the south coast. Watching every kick of their championship clash at Portsmouth are our commentary team, former Blues captain Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley.
Well, it's already a case of third time lucky because of the fact we're finally here at Fratton Park with a game on our hands. But can Ipswich Town make it 3 successive wins since the international break? What a boost to their already healthy-looking promotion hopes that would be. Come 10 o'clock tonight, we certainly don't want to be rolling out the Lord Mayor's show cliché, given the high of Saturday lunchtime at Carrow Road. Last week was clearly a hugely successful one for the Blues, not just in East Anglia, but further afield as well. Kieran McKenna's men were hoovering up maximum points. The likes of Middlesbrough, Millwall and Hull were all faltering. They mentioned Borough in there. They lost to this Portsmouth side at the weekend, so clearly tonight's host can't be taken lightly. Far from it. It's rare you have a comfortable time here at one of the most atmospheric grounds in English football, and this evening's unlikely to be anything different. But Mick, as we head into this one, Town are in a terrific position, aren't they? Last week went better than we could ever have dreamt.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, really. When you look back at the last 2 weekends, they've all gone our way. We've done the job that we needed to personally, and then around the country there have been results that have gone our way as well. So I half expected the first weekend to be pretty much perfect, because I thought that we had the best of the fixtures in that particular weekend. But this one just gone, when we had to go up to play at Norwich, I thought that we possibly had the toughest of the games this weekend, but as we know, we did the best job of the lot, you know, so we've now put ourselves in a position that we didn't really expect to be in, but we're in there. The result at Carrow Road must have done us the world of good, and I'm really expecting us to pretty much follow on from there. You know, we've had 2 or 3 days now to rest, and that is all we should have done, is rest. You know, have as much sleep as possible. Pretty much don't do anything excessive on the training ground. The players will be ready for this game. Portsmouth have had a very indifferent season, and I think we're ready to take this one on now. 5
changes from the team that was successful at Carrow Road on Saturday lunchtime. Davis, Taylor, Johnson, Philogene and Mehmeti drop out. In come Kipre, Neal, McAteer, Nunez and Clark. So Walton in goal, the back four Furlong, O'Shea the captain, Kipre and Greaves. Leif Davis not in the squad following the birth of his first child, so we wish him well. Then you've got Matu Siwa alongside Neal, the 3 of McAteer, Nunez and Clark in behind one of the goal scorers in Norwich, George Hurst up top. On the bench, Palmer, Johnson, Taylor, Kiyuste, Eggerly, Mehmeti, Akpom, Philogene, who scored the first goal at the weekend, and Athon. 4 changes from the Portsmouth side that had that huge win for both them and Ipswich Town at Middlesbrough on Saturday. Of course, Connor Chaplin can't face his parent club. Dia, Anderson and Caballero are also out. In comes Shaughnessy, Segicic, Swift and Ali. They play the same system as Town. Schmidt is their keeper. They've got a back four of Devlin, Poole, Shaughnessy and Williams. Then it's Pack, the captain, alongside Dazelle. Then a 3, like Ipswich Town, they've changed their attacking 3. From right to left, Segicic, Swift playing where Chaplin has been playing in the 10, and then Ali. And it's up front Bishop, who's only got 3 goals this season, but in the past he scored 6 against Ipswich Town. That's more than he's got against any other club in his career. On the bench, Bursick, Deere, Blair, Brown, Bowett, LaRue, Waddingham, Anderson and Bianchini. Bianchini hasn't been seen since November. His inclusion in the 20 has come as a bit of a surprise to the locals. The 2 teams in their pre-match huddles, Ipswich Town in red shirts, red shorts and blue socks tonight. Interesting variation on their second kit. That's because Portsmouth have their blue shirts, white shorts and red socks on in the half off to our left-hand side. So Town playing away from their away fans, occupying most of the stand behind Christian Walton off to our right-hand side, a healthy number, many of which have probably been all the way down to this part of the world twice already before realising that the previous games have been called off because of a frozen pitch and then a waterlogged pitch. But we are here tonight and the game is about to get underway. Ipswich Town's 41st game of the season, just 5 more to come after this, as Marcelino Nunez, the villain of the piece at the weekend, gets the ball back to O'Shea, and the captain, many people's man of the match up in Norfolk, launches it long. Ball's headed out by the right back of Portsmouth for a throw to Ipswich on this near side. Clark thought about taking it quickly, but in the end he's given the ball to Greaves, who's been excellent back at centre-half, but we know he's a good cover at left-back as well. As the ball grazes the top of George Hurst's head, former lone player here, George Hurst. So it's out behind for an early goal kick to the man in all yellow, Schmidt. How do you rate Town's chances tonight, Mick?
I think they're pretty good. It just, obviously it just depends how, we sort of play, obviously, as a team. But our results are good. Portsmouth have had an indifferent time. Everything really is in our favour at the start of the game. And for me, it's just a question of if we play well, we win.
Yeah, that win at the weekend ended a run of 8 without a victory for Portsmouth. Haven't won here since January. 5 without a win on this ground. 4 defeats and 1 draw in that period. Their last 3 wins have all come away from home. As Kipre gets the ball back to Walton. Walton lashes it downfield. Flick on header from Hurst. Town trying to complete a double over Portsmouth. Here comes Town. Just outside the area, McAteer blocked off and out on this near side. That was a strong challenge by Poole. McAteer momentarily found himself down the left wing. Greaves gives the ball back to Matusiwa on the centre spot, and available O'Shea, but he just moved his shins to let the ball fly past him to Furlong. Furlong down the far touchline to McAteer, back home on the right hand side. His touch takes it out behind for a goal kick to Portsmouth, still goalless after 2 minutes.
Yeah, nothing's really happened. We've looked quite live. McAteer has nicked a couple of balls off of his opponent, which is good. That means he's nice and alive over on the right hand side there, so we're ready for this game, I'm sure.
Yeah, Town beat them 2-1 at Portman Road back in September. The last time we were here was December 2022 in League One, a 2-2 draw on that occasion, as Ali tries to get away from Furlong on the far side. It looked like Furlong was holding him up. The referee, Farai Halam, who's impressed me whenever I've seen them this season. He's refereed in the Premier League. Seems to be relatively new to this level of football, but he's done well when I've seen him referee Ipswich Town games. He's given Portsmouth a free kick on the far side, tried to let play develop, but it was a clear tug by Furlong, who the referee's now having a word with. Quite pacey, Ali, the wide player on that side, that Furlong's going to keep tabs on. Swift back for a second spell at Pompey. Former Chelsea player has this free kick on the far side. Town have got quite a high line, 12 yards or more outside their penalty area, and it swings from Swift, headed into the Ipswich area. It's over the top of Kipre, belted away by Hurst back there defending. Wasn't sure the ball was going to go back to Walton, didn't want to take a chance.
Yeah, I particularly don't like the high line that we take. I always think there's too much grass behind us.
Throw in for Portsmouth, another player who's back here for a second spell, Marlon Pack, trying the ball on his blue shirt off to our right hand side. Forward he comes, and long flat throw from him, well watched by Kipre, headed away as far as Segicic, the number 10. Portsmouth have it in the centre circle, all the way back to Williams, the left back. Pack square of him on the halfway line. Kieran McKenna and John Mousinho standing down below us, and Techniclair, Sam Allison, the fourth official, just having a word with Kieran about something or other. Now Darnell Furlong, a real fixture in the Ipswich Town side this season, has the throw. It goes short to Neil. Neil touches it back to Furlong. Poor from Furlong, infield it goes. Kipre's got to do some defending, which you hadn't budgeted for. Neil then loops the ball to Greaves on this near side, short from Greaves to Clark. Walton's available if he wants to use him. Clark wants to wriggle away from his marker. Great running from Clark. He gets up to the halfway line. Really good play from the former Sunderland man. He's got the ball inside the Portsmouth half of the field before giving it back to Neil. Greaves wants it and gets it from Neil. Kipre, it's goalless as he has the ball just south of the centre circle. Neil finds Kipre once again, and now the ball goes back to O'Shea. Town trying to extend this unbeaten run to 7 matches tonight. Sorry, to 10 matches tonight. It'll be 7 wins and 3 draws in the 10 since Wrexham, if they can manage to do that. Terrific form at a key part of the season. Here is Poole, once of Manchester United, then Lincoln. He gives it to Devlin, the right back. Back it goes to Schmidt, the goalkeeper. Hurst will close him down. Schmidt controls his left foot, then launches long with his right to the far side. Ali with a good header in field, but it's to O'Shea rather than Bishop. And O'Shea just takes the ball into the right back area before launching it long downfield for Hurst to challenge Shaughnessy. Out it goes off of Shaughnessy.
There should be no problems with regards to tactics tonight. Both teams are playing the very, very popular 4-2-3-1, so it sort of knits in nicely, you know, with each other's way of playing, and so it's going to be interesting. Really, when your tactics are the same, it's down to which team plays the best football.
2 catch-up games in the Championship tonight, the other just along the south coast. Southampton, a phenomenal run of form at home to Blackburn. This is the first of 3 consecutive midweek games for Ipswich Town. We're at Charlton next Wednesday, and then mentioned Southampton, we're at St Mary's in a fortnight. Greaves infield to Clark. Clark wriggles away from the challenger Segicic, then he's being fouled. Doesn't have love to run with the ball when he gets it. Very effective at it as well, Clark. He'll have been disappointed not to start at the weekend, but chance for him to stake a claim for Middlesbrough this evening. Furlong trying to get McAteer in behind. Lovely ball from Furlong. McAteer pulls it back. Hurst with a shot deflected up and away by Shaughnessy. Clark was also there, but Hurst was entitled to take it on. First shot towards goal from Ipswich Town in this one.
Well, it was a beautiful run from McAteer. He initially goes towards the ball, spins, makes a run down the line, and then a fabulous ball plays him in. And I think Hurst should have dummied for Clark.
Yeah, that's the way I read it when it came in initially. But lovely play from Ipswich Town. Brilliant down the right-hand side from Furlong and McAteer. Corner kick to Ipswich Town. The first of this game, 7 minutes gone. Nunez in from our left-hand side, headed away by Ali. It's cleared fully by Portsmouth. Matusiwa, for a second, the only outfield player in the half off to our right, gets on the ball. Gives it to Neil, who's back helping out. Now Walton. It's his 14th clean sheet of the season at the weekend. Town aiming for 3 consecutive clean sheets on their travels tonight. There's an excellent season. Dazelle with a header back towards Poole. That was a bit risky because Hurst was close to Poole. Poole gives it away to Clark. Scruffy from Portsmouth. Clark to Nunez, trying to play the 1-2. Not the best of return balls from Nunez for Clark, and that allowed Portsmouth to clear.
Yeah, there's mistakes in this Portsmouth side already. I think there's been about 3 or 4 mistakes. You know, the first one was when the left back allowed McAteer to come and take the ball off him. So this is good. If they continue to make mistakes in their own defensive half of the pitch, then we can seriously capitalise on it.
The town has started pretty well. Here is Cedric Kipre back in the side, giving it to Hazel Matusiwa. Still with his left thigh heavily strapped up, Matusiwa. Kipre gets on the ball. Puts body between man and ball in terms of Swift closing him down. There is Furlong looking again for McAteer. Their relationship developing nicely on that right hand side. Just overcooked that time.
McAteer obviously fancies his chances against Williams by sort of coming towards the ball, spinning, making the run into the grass behind, and if Darnell Furlong can get those balls over the top of him spot on, then we're in business.
Good closing down from Hurst, which forces another error from Portsmouth. Matusiwa to Clark. Hurst leaves the ball for Neil. Back to Matusiwa. Thinks about the switch to the far side. The Ipswich right, but he's checked back out to the near side, the left, as the town fans start to sing Kieran McKenna's praises. Hurst, little drag back, wants to take on Segicic. He's done well so far. Greaves, it is. Excellent play from Greaves down the left. He wins a throw-in outside the Portsmouth penalty area. Jacob Greaves with this throw for Town. Still 0-0. 9 and a bit minutes gone at Fratton Park. Nunez miscontrols the ball under pressure from Dazelle. He's had a good season for Portsmouth, Dazelle. Flying header away from inside his area by Poole. Nodded forward by Furlong. McAteer challenging Williams. Williams might get the better of him. He goes down Williams and wins the free kick. No more than a few yards away from the referee.
Yeah, I think the referee's got that one right, but this is a reasonably good start by Town. Nothing to deal with defensively, a lot of the ball, and we've sort of made some quite dangerous inroads into the Portsmouth penalty area, so a decent start.
Coincidentally, like the weekend, it was Philogene and Hurst that scored the 2 goals when these two sides met earlier on this season. George now on double figures after that well-taken effort just before half-time on Saturday. Long ball forward from Schmidt. Segacic miscontrols it. Out the ball goes for a throw into Town at left back. Town unbeaten in the last 5 league meetings between these two sides. 3 wins and a couple of draws. Here is Greaves with this throw towards Nunez. Nunez controls it, but it goes out of play. Shielded out of play by Swift. A little bit too heavy in the touch, the Chilean. And it's a throw to the Ulsterman Devlin. Midway inside the Ipswich Town half. Still looking for the first goal on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. 11 minutes on the clock at Fratton Park. Portsmouth, incidentally, 1 point above the relegation zone. They've got a massive game against Leicester to come this weekend. Town second in the table, 2 points clear of Millwall. And after this game, they will still have a game in hand on Alex Neil's side as well. Headed out by Poole. As Town edge along this near touchline with throw-ins.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the 3v3 in the centre of midfield, and this is the closest to a 1v1 situation in there that you get nowadays. Dazelle, for instance, is definitely trying to do a job on Nunez.
Greaves throws the ball over halfway and also over the top of Hurst, sadly. Poole hooks it forward up towards Bishop. Bishop, nice touch to Swift. To the right-hand side, Segacic. He lays it off back to Devlin. Clark closes him down. The ball's forced back to Poole. Good closing down from Ipswich Town. Schmidt out to the far side and Williams. Portsmouth still without their first choice left back, Ogilvie, serving a 3-match ban. Here is Marlon Pack. Time at Bristol City and Cardiff in between his spells here. Bags of championship experience, Pack. He was one of the players, many players that were missing when these two sides were scheduled to meet in early January, the first postponement. Williams forward early but straight at Furlong. Furlong controls it and gives it to Matu Siwa. He gets away from Bishop, and then Ali off the outside of his right boot gives the ball to Dara O'Shea. Up towards Nunez. Nunez controls it under a little bit of pressure from his marker. Dazelle is the one that seems to be picking up Nunez. Walton still looking for the first goal of the night. Little in the way of goalmouth action so far. Greaves in the air, out of play, it goes off Devlin. Town going excellent away support off to our right hand side. Boy, did they enjoy themselves on Saturday afternoon. Massive game ahead on Sunday lunchtime for Ipswich Town. It's a midday kick-off, unusual kick-off time. Middlesbrough at Portman Road. Full match commentary and match day starting at 11, building up to that one. We should hopefully speak to World Heavyweight Boxing Champion Fabio Wardley live in the first hour of the show on Sunday. Greaves with a throw in again underneath us for Ipswich Town. Looking for an option, there aren't too many readily available. Neil wriggles away from Segacic, gives it to Greaves, up to Hurst. Hurst challenged from behind, lost his balance and also the ball. Shaughnessy back to Schmidt. Schmidt takes a touch from out of his feet. And again, one of those long bombs downfield from left to right. Furlong gets the better of Ali. Ipswich on the right-hand side. McAteer is onto the ball, holds it up. His first start since his excellent game on Easter Monday against Birmingham. Back towards Dara O'Shea. Greaves making a run near side. O'Shea goes up to the halfway line and Clark, who tried to dummy it. Neil through a little gap looking for Clark. Poole tidies up. Back to the man in all yellow, Schmidt. Side-footed long downfield from Schmidt. One in the air by O'Shea. Only to Segacic. Segacic to Devlin. Good working back from Clark. Closing down the route to the Ipswich Town penalty box in front of Devlin. Home crowd getting behind Pompey. Furlong controls the ball neatly, dropping down over his right shoulder. More up than away from Walton, bit of a miscue from him. Swift couldn't control it, given away by Furlong's clearance to Pack. A little bit messy. Dazelle touches the ball back to centre-half Conor Shaughnessy.
Yeah, in a very sort of quiet sort of way, I think we've got a bit of control about the game, and it's really Portsmouth that are staying with us. rather than the other way round.
If you're just joining us, Town have made numerous changes, 5 in total. In have come Kipre, Neal, McAtee and Nunez and Clark for Davis, Taylor, Johnson, Philogene and Mehmeti. Schmidt to Poole, Clark's all over him. Town pressing off to our left-hand side. Poole clears off the number 47 on Clark's back, and the ball's out off to our left for a goal kick to Portsmouth.
Yeah, we're very disciplined, we look very, very together, and we are sort of really making it very difficult for Portsmouth to work the ball out of their half into the attacking half and to do anything with it.
Yeah, good pressing from Ipswich Town. Like a well-oiled machine at the moment as Matthew Seawer gets the ball back to Furlong. Now O'Shea reunited with Kipre, who's given the ball to Kipre back to Walton. Walton on the edge of his area picks out a pass with a bit of disguise to the far side. And O'Shea with his heels far to the touchline. Furlong receives the ball and quickly gets it forward to Nunez. Nunez with a pass in field, not a good one. Devlin to Segacic, across comes Neal, the ball comes off Neal, out for a throw to Pompey.
Yeah, it was a good pass out of our defence, you know, and I think we should have done a little bit better with it. But Portsmouth have regained possession, but they actually at the moment don't look as if they're capable of breaking us down at all.
Throw in to Terry Devlin. He's going to be taking this for Portsmouth. Still goalless, live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sports. 17 minutes gone. Goes short towards Pack. Once more Devlin, infield from him, but straight at Neal. Neal's touch forward wasn't a good one. Portsmouth come forward with Swift out to the left-hand side. Good ball. Williams inside the Ipswich Town area. Tries to pick his spot. He wasn't too far away. Appeals that it came off a Town defender. They've fallen on deaf ears. Mr. Hallam points to the edge of the Ipswich Town 6-yard area. It's a goal kick to Walton.
Yeah, first opportunity for Portsmouth. They managed to squeeze the ball away from this touchline on this side, on the Portsmouth right. They ended up getting a free ball to the wide left player, Ali, and that's the first time we've been able to see him in a 1v1 against Furlong, and he did okay. He was able to step inside, and the curled far post shot wasn't very far away.
And Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn have worse home records than Portsmouth this season, as Hurst's touch lets him down. Ball's out on the far side for a throw to Portsmouth as a couple of the Ipswich subs limber up the other side. Johnson, Mehmeti, now Akpom's gone to join them. Goalmouth action so far in this first 18 minutes has been rather scarce. Schmidt high one to the centre spot, one in the air by Kipre. Williams gets those feet in a bit of a tangle initially, but eventually adjusts and gets the ball back to Shocknessy, former Leeds and Burton player. Shocknessy finds Dazelle. Dazelle whips a pass to the feet of Swift, out to the right-hand side. Pull down the line to Devlin. That was messy from Portsmouth. Town get on the ball. Clark, excellent play from him to the left-hand side. Hurst in the right-back area outside the Portsmouth box. Hurst holds it up, gets support from Greaves. Greaves wants to take on Devlin. Devlin stuck to his man. No chance for Greaves to get a cross in just yet. It's having a right old wrestling match with Devlin, and then eventually Devlin comes out on top because Greaves got the last touch when the ball went out.
Yeah, initially Greaves looked as if he was going to go down the outside of his marker, but he wasn't able to quite get the run on him, and then once it sort of went quite dead, he tried to sort of shield the ball close to the touchline, and in the end he sort of made a mistake by touching the ball over the line himself. But that's a good run from Jacob Greaves. It's not something that comes naturally for him, so well done.
Flick in field from Swift is a good one, finding Segacic. Segacic forward to Ali in a sprint, but Furlong, the angle kind of favoured him. He did well. Had to go down on one knee as he cleared out far side, but it was effective from the Ipswich right back. Quick take and throw from Portsmouth. In the 20th minute, still 0-0 in this 8 o'clock kick-off. Good crossfield ball from Dazelle. Inch perfect for Segacic. Tries to play the 1-2 with Devlin, but Greaves is onto the return ball. Just gifts it back to Walton. First time kick from Walton. Touch from Shockness, he's worked out very well to Ali. Not sure it was an intended pass. Ali's got the ball on the left corner of the Ipswich area. Tries to play it back to Williams. Williams nicks it away from McAteer. In comes the cross, blocked off by Matthew Siwa. Appeals from Portsmouth players. Not quite sure what Dan Neil did there. He went out of view behind a stanchion down in front of us. There are blind spots here in our commentary position. Now the ball is back, I can see, with Christian Walton. Takes it out of his area, took a bit of a risk against Colby Bishop, levers it over the top of Devlin. Hurst can't find Neil. Portsmouth get the ball back to Shocknessy.
Well, the last 3 or 4 minutes, Portsmouth have managed to push us back maybe 20 yards, and they're sort of having a lot of possession deep, just inside their half, but they have got more control of the ball now than they had at the start of the game, and we are slowly but surely going back a little bit further.
Yeah, that's true. Here is Poole. Gets it back from Devlin and in turn finds Schmidt. Still goalless. Schmidt to his left-hand side. And then gets the ball back. Took the lead against Arsenal here in the FA Cup earlier on this year, Portsmouth. Sadly for them, couldn't pull off a giant killing like that. Fierce rivals from along the coast, Southampton managed to do in the quarter-finals. Ball goes out of play from Shocknessy, wasteful from him. It's another Greaves throw-in down below us. Kieran McKenna hands in pockets, having a word or two with Jacob Greaves. The town boss linked with the pending vacancy at Bournemouth this summer. Andoni Iraola confirming today that he's leaving the Cherries this summer. Kieran McKenna, I think, currently the second favourite for that job, for what it's worth, as Walton's closed down by Bishop, gets the ball out to the far side, and Furlong's header looking for McAteer is dealt with by Williams. Nunez successfully fights for the ball inside his own half. Kipre via Greaves Town have to go back to Christian Walton.
Yeah, we're okay. We've only conceded 1/2 a chance to Portsmouth so far, so we're defending okay. We're very much together as a team, but I would like just to see 1 or 2 of the forwards just making a few more inroads.
Walton walks out of his area with the ball, then left-footed, fires it onto the chest on the far side of Furlong. Great ball. Furlong gives it to Nunez, then gets it back. O'Shea just short of the halfway line, goes square to Kipre. Kipre crosses the halfway line. Greaves next to him, he plays it forward. Excellent ball from Kipre. Good run from Clark. That's nice football. Clark wide left inside the Portsmouth area. Ball comes into the middle, blocked out behind by Poole. Town corner kick.
Yeah, beautiful play by Kipre. Kipre looked as if he was going to just play a very simple ball to Jacob Greaves on this left touchline, and then he saw the darting run of Jack Clark inside of him, and then he played a beautiful ball which gave Jack Clark an excellent 1v1 inside the Portsmouth penalty area.
He's a good passer. He's got good vision as well to spot runs. Kipre, he's done that a few times this season, threatening forward passes. Corner kick to Ipswich Town. Nunez to take it off to our left-hand side. Headed away on the near post by Ali. The shot from Neil. He hit that really well. Good technique. Sadly, just off target. What a goal it would have been if it had found the back of the net from 22 yards.
Yeah, he got almost everything right with that. He's actually sort of timed it perfectly. He's kept it sort of not far off the ground, so going over the crossbar is not a part of it, and it really just missed the target, that's all, and it was a great strike.
Schmidt from the centre of his 6-yard box off to our left, goes straight down the field, one bounce beyond Ali, and it's all the way to Christian Walton. Kieran McKenna's pointing underneath us where he wants the ball to go. It reaches Jack Clark. Clark in for Philogene tonight, runs square and then plays the ball to Furlong. Furlong to McAteer, one-on-one with Williams, wants to try and take him on. McAteer in the end just has to give it back to Furlong. Now O'Shea on BBC Radio Suffolk into the centre circle. There's keep ball with Kipre. O'Shea has it back. This time he looks forward and long out to left-hand side, and Greaves heads it back to Clark. Clark keeps it in play quite clearly, despite a couple of Portsmouth players wrongly appealing it had gone out. Kipre this time can't go forward, so gives it to O'Shea. Back it goes to Kipre. Now Clark down this near side, trying to get the better of Devlin, which he was going to do, but not pull. Kieran McKenna gives the ball to Kipre, and he throws it back to his skipper.
Yeah, they're working well down this left-hand side, Jacob Greaves and Jack Clark. Greaves is hugging the touchline on occasions, which allows Jack Clark to go 15 yards infield.
Slip from Nunez. Dazell's given it to Ali wide left. He's got the pace to beat Furlong. Into the middle it comes, palmed away by Walton. Then the missed effort towards goal by Swift, who didn't get anywhere near the connection he was hoping for. Had he, that could have been troublesome for Ipswich Town, because Walton was on the floor.
Yeah, at the moment it's Ali that looks the real danger man for Portsmouth. He's not had a lot of the ball, but when he's got it, he looks as if he can really seriously threaten Darnell Furlong. He's stepped inside on one occasion and bent a shot just past the post, and on that occasion he's created an opportunity there for another Portsmouth player, Swift. So he looks a threat down the left-hand side.
He's on loan from Luton, Ali. They paid £1.5 million to Exeter for him, the Dublin-born wide man. He's lively. Ball forward towards Hurst. Schmidt's out of his area. Got there ahead of the Town number 9. Good work from the goalkeeper, who's alert to that danger. And the ball flies out for a throw to Ipswich, who are in largely red kit tonight, aside from the blue socks, because Portsmouth are wearing red socks themselves. Greaves infield to Neil in the side for Taylor, who's only on the bench. Walton, left-footed, scoops the ball over the top of Ali to Furlong. Furlong miscontrols it. Dazell looking for Ali. Ali gets the better of Matu Siwa and shoots. It's a real fizzer. Had to be tipped over the bar by Walton. It was a good effort from Ali. He is a live wire, this player.
Yeah, we've given the ball away, gave them the opportunity to get the ball to Ali, and on that occasion he's received the ball pretty much dead centre of the pitch, only probably about 15 yards outside the penalty area. He's just stepped forward and hit a cracking shot, which actually was a good save by Christian Walton.
27 minutes played at Fratton Park, 0-0. Portsmouth, though, have a corner kick off to our right-hand side in front of the Town fans. Segicic knocks it in. The referee's blown his whistle for a foul in there by a Portsmouth man. Christian Walton gives us the thumbs up. Free kick to Ipswich Town.
Yeah, I would just like to see us take a little bit more control of the possession now. That's what would really seriously stop Portsmouth's momentum, and they have got that momentum at the moment. They obviously have been pleased with their last 10-12 minutes, and they're getting a little bit of confidence about them.
Kipre, good ball infield to Neil. Neil helps it on its way to Nunez. He'll tuck it back to Furlong. It's all still inside the Ipswich Town half. Now deep enough for Dara O'Shea to get on the ball. He's carried it forward a fair number of yards to the halfway line before going left to Kipre. Greaves wants it down the line. Kipre feathers a pass forward looking for Clark. Not the worst ball in the world. Couldn't quite get there though. Portsmouth get it away as far as Segicic. So they have to go back to launch it to the halfway line. Kipre with a strong header forward. Then it's Shaughnessy who does the same up to Ali. Dazell, who in turn has to go back. Portsmouth have it at centre half. Now they poke it into midfield and Dazell. Ali on the far touchline, their left. It's going to be robbed. Good play from Ipswich Town and McAteer. McAteer's cross is blocked square by Ali.
Yeah, he just took his time to get the cross in, and I don't know why, because we had 3 red-shirted players in the box. Certainly Jack Clark, Nunez and Jeff Hurst were already in the box waiting for the cross, and there was no need to delay it.
Clearly must have come off McAteer on the far side, because it's ended up being a throw-in to Portsmouth. Approaching the half-hour mark on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Still 0-0 in this one. Hurst touches the ball to McAteer on the far side. Matu Siwa has to help out. He plays it to O'Shea. O'Shea drives in field, then gives it to Greaves. Greaves back to Kipre. Kipre looking forward to Nunez. Lovely ball from Kipre. Nunez brings it down, but the touch takes it out behind. didn't know if the flag was going to go up there. It was a terrific spot and an excellent ball again from Kipre to pick out Marcelino Nunez.
Yeah, it's a wonderful ball, and to be perfectly honest, he's got to be sharper. His control was okay, but he's got to bring it down quickly. He's got to get the finish almost immediately. Had he have done that, then that was an opportunity to score, but he wasn't sharp enough with his control and with the finish afterwards. He didn't really get the finish in because he was a bit too slow controlling the ball.
Goalless. Bishop flicks the ball onto Ali. McAteer gets it back via a little deflection to Walton. Dara O'Shea's got plenty to say to someone or other out there. 14 and a half minutes to go of this first half. Walton in a fixture between the town posts for a long time now. Alex Palmer just bench warming as the ball is back with Walton, and he has made the most of his opportunities since Palmer's unfortunate injury. O'Shea to Furlong, up towards Hurst. Hurst with a little touch back to McAteer, who has a run in field. Neil sitting in midfield alongside Matusiwa. Carries the ball forward a few yards and gives it out wide to Greaves. Greaves in field to Clark. Clark 30 yards from goal. Little gap, he finds Hurst. Hurst with a drag back and a shot which is blocked. That goes to Schmidt eventually. Nice play from Ipswich once again.
Yeah, nice play. They've actually worked the ball nicely initially down the left-hand side, but then they sort of put the ball more infield, and they look as if they're quite threatening. We haven't quite got the chances that we would want to have, but there's some decent play.
Segicic gets the ball from Devlin and goes back to Marlon Pack. Pack plays it between Hurst and Nunez to the number 6, Shaughnessy. He's not on the same wavelength as Ali. Furlong with a tiny little touch back to Walton. He puts his right foot through the ball. Shaughnessy stoops to win the header. Flags up against Portsmouth near side for an offside. And we are still 0-0 after 32 and a half minutes of this game.
Yeah, it's funny really. I think both teams would be fairly satisfied with what they've done so far. I think we've sort of, would be okay with what we've done. We've been a threat in the forward area. We've sort of not conceded too many chances defensively. But then Portsmouth, I think, would be quite happy with what's happened so far, purely and simply because I think they would have expected a harder game than what this is.
O'Shea finding Furlong. Up to McAteer, challenged successfully by Shaughnessy. The loose ball runs the way of Nunez. Nunez wriggles away from Ali and gives it to Dan Neil on the centre spot. Town and Red playing from right to left as Greaves gives the ball back to Neil for the final 12 minutes of this first half anyway. We're still goalless as Town work it down the left. Good play from Greaves, finding Clark just inside the Portsmouth area, and then he was hoping it would go out for a corner kick. In the end, Pack cleared the ball off Clark for a goal kick to Pompey.
Yeah, that's good tidying up by Marlon Pack. He tracked the run down, and then when he sort of got possession of the ball, he definitely did what happened, and that's play the ball onto Clark and get his team a goal kick. So that was good tracking down when you think he's a midfield player, and he's actually dealt with that scene close to his own byline.
Still goalless. Getting a few moments so far, this one. Thrown at left back, that Greaves is going to be taken. He's got Kipre, Matusiwa or Neil as potential targets. They've all gone away from him. He wants to be a little bit more ambitious and go down this touchline towards Hurst. He's got a couple of players holding on to him. He only has a wrestle with Devlin. Free kick well spotted by the referee. Clark. There's something about him, this referee. I hope I'm not tempting fate. He doesn't drop a clanger at some stage, but I do like him. On the far side, Furlong has the ball for Ipswich. Gives it back to O'Shea. Now Matusiwa. Once more, Dara O'Shea. Are we to see a first half goal at Fratton Park? Ipswich with Hurst tripped. It's actually McAteer It's a free kick to Town just outside the Portsmouth penalty area.
Yeah, decent position. I think it will take one hell of a shot to actually beat the goalkeeper from here, so it's probably going to be played sort of beyond the defensive line of Portsmouth for somebody else to score, not the guy taking the free kick.
Well, it's Nunez. It's about time he hit another good one. His free kicks have been very poor for far too long. He might be fancying this one. We've played 35.5 minutes at Fratton Park. Marcelino Nunez over this free kick. Then about 25 yards from goal, left of centre. Got the impression he might be going for goal. Plenty colleagues in the box. He plays in, looking for a teammate, glancing at her away, and it goes out for a corner to Town.
Yeah, I was expecting that one, and that was the right one to take. We had Kipri and O'Shea sort of threatening this side of the defensive line, and that's where Nunez played it. It was a good ball, exactly the right area, but it was a defender that met it.
Corner kick to Ipswich Town, trying to break the deadlock before half-time. 9 minutes of the first half to go at Fratton Park. Nunez on this corner kick, right-footed delivery, touched away by the goalkeeper, headed fully up and away by Segacic, who's going to chase after it. Pompey tried to get on the counter-attack, back on the red shirts of Ipswich. Ali clears long downfield. Matusiwa heads it on for Nunez. Nunez gets back in the left-back area, spins and plays it down the line. Greaves shields it on its way, and it's back with a fullback, Devlin. Schmidt on the edge of his penalty area, gets away from Hurst, and right-footed pumps the ball downfield towards Ali. Ali trying to embarrass the two Ipswich Town centre-halves, which he's done. The shot's just wide, but I think he'd fouled Cedric Kipre, and amongst all of that, it wouldn't have counted. Free kick on the edge of the Ipswich area, to Town.
A very positive run from him. He decided as soon as the ball was kicked by the goalkeeper he would follow the flight of the ball rather than challenge in the air for it, and he actually, by doing so, he nearly forced a mistake out of Kipri. In the end he had fouled Kipri, but it was a very positive dart forward to put Kipri under the pressure.
Not much in this game, it has to be said, as Kipre finds Clark on the halfway line, on the half turn, faced by three players. He's got away from them, excellent from Clark. Then he nudges over Devlin. It's a bit of a harsh call, that. Referee's blown up for the foul by Clark on Devlin. I think he's just too strong for Devlin.
Yeah, not easy to understand that decision, it really wasn't. That was a good run by Clark.
Really good. Devlin kind of lost balance and Clark was just stronger than him. Here is Schmidt anyway. The decision's been made. Still 0-0 with 38 minutes played. Here is the goalkeeper of Portsmouth, who only the two Sheffield clubs have lost more games this season than. As O'Shea heads the ball away to Matusiwa. Neil prods it, but only to Devlin. Now Pack. Devlin goes back to his goalkeeper Schmidt. Schmidt from out of his area. Aims long towards Ali. Furlong comes in field watching his man. Furlong's on the deck. Play goes on, says the referee. Swift falls. Furlong gets on the ball and gives it to Clark. Clark tries to dummy Devlin. Devlin's read it. He's given it to Segacic inside the Ipswich Town area. On his left foot he goes to the near post. He pulls it wide. Half a chance for Portsmouth.
Yeah, a little bit of a gamble with the dummy by Jack Clark. I'm not sure whether his manager will be very pleased with that. That's halfway inside the defensive half. It's a gamble. It didn't come off. It created an opportunity for Portsmouth down their right-hand side. The player on the ball stepped in. I thought he was going to try and bend it into that far corner, but he tried to drag it in the near post, but it didn't come off for him. But bad mistake by Jack Clark.
6 minutes to go in the first half. Still goalless down at Fratton Park. Header forward from Neil of Ipswich Town. Then up goes Matusiwa alongside the taller Ali. Ali flicks it on for Bishop. Tangling with O'Shea. The decision goes the way of the Ipswich Town captain. O'Shea to Matusiwa. Then to Nunez. Here is Dara O'Shea again. Played pretty much every minute of Ipswich Town's league season. Kipre to Clark. Clark back to Walton. Walton inside his penalty area. Forward to Clark. Clark touches it on. Not good that. Matthew Seward is beaten by Bishop. Pack finds Devlin. Devlin down the line. Greaves goes to ground and sends the ball out of play down below us. Devlin with the ball above his head for Portsmouth. Half of football, very few incidents really. Matthew Seward, after Bishop had been brought down, home crowd furious about that. Dazelle wins it back for the blue shirts of Pompey. Shaughnessy. Not much between the two sides at all really in this first period. Dazelle gets on the ball, picks out a pass to Swift. Devlin wants it on the right hand side and so much space. Devlin, acres of space, comes in field, goes low, blocked out by Greaves for Portsmouth's second corner kick. A little bit of momentum behind them at the moment.
Yeah, there is, and this is a good time for them to win a corner kick. They can put the defenders up. First time Town under real pressure.
Yep, Portsmouth undoubtedly having a little spell in this game in the final 5 minutes of the first half. They've just won their third corner kick, which Segicic is going to bend in left-footed off to our right-hand side. Digs that towards the far post, headed down and in. Portsmouth take the lead. Could well be one of the centre-halves who's nodded it in. It is indeed. It's Shaughnessy back in the side tonight. And Ipswich Town go a goal behind at Fratton Park as they get themselves in a little huddle. Dara O'Shea giving them a right talking to on the edge of Walton's penalty area. Portsmouth 1, Ipswich Town 0.
Well, I counted 7 Pompey players in the penalty area there. They obviously realise we're very, very close to half-time. We've won a corner kick. Let's make the most of it. And in the end, ironically, the player who scored the goal never really had to get his feet off the ground.
No.
It just landed for him perfectly. He's got himself a little bit of space. He hasn't had to climb to meet the ball. It's got to be down to bad defending that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That was my initial reading of it as well. Very poor defending. So easy for Shaughnessy to head that in. Here is O'Shea. So Town are going to have to do what they did at home to Birmingham on Easter Monday, come from behind to win a game, or at least get a point. But whilst Portsmouth had a little spell, it's not as if they'd had chance after chance. Walton hadn't had to be making lots of saves. Town weren't totally under the cosh. They just had a bit more possession and looked a bit more threatening. But they've made that set piece count, and obviously, as you can tell, it's a different atmosphere inside Fratton Park with a couple of minutes of the first half to go. Here comes a throw-in from Devlin, headed on by Bishop up towards Hurst. Neil can't get the better of Bishop. Bishop's done excellently. Really good play on the halfway line from the number 9, held up the ball well. Portsmouth with a spring in their step. Ali gets into the Ipswich area, goes to the byline, sends Furlong away. In comes the cross, touchdown, maybe another chance. Shot from Swift, saved from Walton. Bishop makes it 2. Town in a right old mess at the back. That was so poor from Ipswich Town. And Colby Bishop gets his 7th career goal against Ipswich Town. It's only his 4th one in total this season, but he loves playing Ipswich. All of a sudden, Town are 2-0 down on the south coast.
Well, that's terrible, it really is. When the balls come into our penalty area, Portsmouth have had about 3 attempts to actually get the ball over the line, so they shouldn't have that amount of attempts. In the end, the 3rd one or the 4th one is an absolute gift, and it goes into the back of the net. This is just ridiculous, because we looked pretty watertight defensively for 30 minutes, and then just from Portsmouth getting up a little bit of steam, we have literally gone under.
There they have. Terrible defending again from Ipswich Town. Best defensive record in the division, remember. But all of a sudden, 2-0 down at half-time. We are staying up is the chant from the home crowd. Excellent few days for them, winning at Middlesbrough, now leading Ipswich Town by 2-0. And of course, Middlesbrough fans, Millwall fans will be absolutely loving this scoreline almost as much as their Pompey counterparts. Kieran McKenna furiously writing notes down below us. 1 minute of added on time to be played. Can Ipswich Town get a goal back in that period? Matusiwa to O'Shea. O'Shea loses the ball. Here come Portsmouth again down this right hand side with Segacic. Forward the Blues come. Kipre touches it out behind. It's another corner kick to Portsmouth. All of a sudden this is crazy. It's one-way traffic.
Yes, it is. I mean, we should have done better with the attacking position we found ourselves in. We lost possession of the ball, and then they've broken beautifully down their right-hand side, and we look vulnerable again.
I love the noise their home crowd always give them here at Fratton Park. It's spine-tingling stuff. Such a good old-fashioned football ground. Ipswich Town cannot afford to concede a third goal before half-time. They're still in it at 2-0, 3-0 I would have to fear for them. Town have got all 10 red shirts back in the penalty area off to our right-hand side. They've got to mark up an awful lot better than they did from Portsmouth's last corner from this man, Segacic. Forward comes Segacic to play it into the middle. It's another good one. Good hands from Walton, much needed as well. It's no obvious burst forward. He's held on to the ball, and that's it. The half-time whistle goes. Well, it's crazy. If somebody told me 5 or 6 minutes ago the half would end 2-0 to Portsmouth, I just, there's no way in the world. But it has, Mick Mills.
No, I don't think after the weekend's game at Norwich, you know, where it was largely a victory because of the beautiful defensive performance we put out there. So you come down here tonight, and what you basically want a repeat of that defensive performance. Make it as sound as possible, but we needed a little bit of improvement in the front end of the team, you know, and when the game got underway, you just sense that, yeah, this is going to be pretty much, you know, what I've just said. The defence looked as if they were ready to go again. The attack was starting to sort of make 1 or 2 inroads. For instance, McAteer early in the game looked very, very lively, very threatening. He has disappeared from the game, but the signs were there. And then sort of first half, you had a feeling that Portsmouth were actually going to find it really tough to break us down. And then the man that sort of came into the game for them in an attacking sense was the wide left player Ali. He sort of all of a sudden started to threaten Town, and then other players started to respond to that, and then the sort of last 15 minutes of the half, really it was Portsmouth pushing us, you know, firmly back towards our penalty area, and then us seeing very little of the attack. That started to disappear far too much for me, you know, and then, you know, we started to make 1 or 2 little sort of errors. Jack Clark made an error sort of midway in his own half. That resulted in a possible sort of goal, and there was this possibility all of a sudden that Portsmouth could pressure us into sort of a mistake and conceding a goal, and they got a lift from the whole basis that they had possession of the play, you know, and then they score the first goal, then they get a second goal, and all of a sudden all we're doing now is having team huddles, you know, and trying to rally each other, you know. I really sort of would rather sometimes see individuals just getting annoyed with other individuals rather than have a huddle, you know, this organised huddle, you know, which for me is too sort of organised. But sort of getting back to the play, that was a terrific finish, by the way, from Portsmouth of that half of the game. You know, they have had a lot of difficulties this season. I think they would have been pleased with how the first half an hour had gone, because they probably expected a more difficult game, a game where they would have had to have done a lot of defending. Well, they've actually sort of done well in the half, and they finished the half very, very well, and we were the reverse. I thought we started okay and then started to get sort of just a little bit loose at the back. We started to make a few mistakes. We weren't using the forward players anywhere near enough, and that finish to that half was very, very difficult.
awful goals conceded by Ipswich Town. Well, we know this group can come back from 1-0 down. They did it on Easter Monday. Can they come back from 2-0 down away from home? Big test in the next 45 minutes for Ipswich Town. That's the scoreline at Fratton Park, thanks to those late first half goals from Shocknessy and Bishop in the space of 3 minutes. Pompey lead this one 2-0.
Yeah, how quickly things can change. Couple of texts. Disco Dave says 45 in 5. What the hell just happened? Andy in Elmswell says, unbelievable. Portsmouth making us look stupid. The Premier League pipe dreams just that. With this squad, we get murdered every week. Nowhere near ready. Gordon from Stonham says, this is exactly what I hate about town. Every week, stress. Your thoughts welcome as well. 81333 if you want to drop us a text. 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Town were 2-0 down at Stoke, weren't they? Came back to lead that 1-3-2 before the home side's late leveller. So they can come from behind and get a result in this one. The second half on the way in a few minutes' time. One other fixture in the Championship tonight. Southampton home to Blackburn. Southampton have gone 2-0 up. They're looking to extend their unbeaten run in all competitions to 18 matches. They're going the right way about it. Carl Larin on 24 minutes. Ryan Manning on 43 for the Saints. Their fine form looks like continuing. In the Champions League tonight, we'll learn the first two of this season's semi-finalists. At the moment, advantage Atletico Madrid they trail 2-1 at home to Barcelona, but a 3-2 ahead on aggregate. Barcelona 2-0 up in Madrid tonight inside the opening 25 minutes. Goals from Lamine Yamal and Ferran Torres. Lukman got one back for Atletico Madrid, and if it stays like that, they will progress to the semis at Anfield. Half-time whistle about to go. Liverpool 0, Paris Saint-Germain 0, PSG 2-0 up after the first leg in Paris last week. Whistle about to go in the World Cup qualifier at Wembley. The Lionesses are on course for a 1-0 win at home to Spain. Lauren Hemp with an early goal in that one into a fifth minute of added on time. England 1, Spain 0. Round the grounds locally tonight, second half's getting underway in the Southern Premier League and Thurlow Nunn League. At Leiston, a 1-up away at Real Bedford in the Southern Premier League Central Division. Ronnie Blowis with the goal on half an hour. In the Thurlow Nunn Premier Division, Haverhill Rovers on track to go back up to second in the table. They lead Harleston 2-0 away from home. Bottom of the table, Hadley United are 2-1 up at home to Lakenheath. In the First Division North, Kings Park Rangers lead 1-0 away at Framlingham Town. If it stays like that, Kings Park Rangers will be confirmed as Thurlow Nunn First Division North champions tonight. Another game of note at Victory Road. Leyson's under-23s leading Wivenhoe by 3-0. On the way during our half-time break in just a moment, we'll hear from Ipswich Witches team manager Paul Hurry after an East Anglian derby double of the Witches' own making.
The Peaky Blinders are coming!
On BBC iPlayer.
We have to agree to end this war between us.
Peaky Blinders.
Are you okay, Tommy?
I have no limitations.
Watch all 6 series.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
On BBC iPlayer.
This from Noah in Ipswich. We can beat Coventry twice, but we can't do anything against Portsmouth. The moment it's in our grasp to secure promotion, it just flies away and we shut off. Not sure we can do this tonight. Sorry, says Noah. Portsmouth 2, Ipswich Town 0 in our main feature at Fratton Park. Second half on the way shortly. Away from football, England cricket captain Ben Stokes has played down suggestions of a breakdown in his relationship with head coach Brendan McCullum. The 34-year-old had favoured a more conservative approach as the Winter Ashes progressed, but McCullum continued to push for ultra-attacking cricket. Stokes told an in-house ECB interview he admits their partnership will look a little bit different this summer, but insists it's a massive overstatement to say they're not aligned. The BBC's cricket correspondent is Stefan Schemmelt.
At times, it feels like there hasn't been room for disagreement in that dressing room, that there has been an element of groupthink. So I do think it could be seen as a healthy thing that Stokes and McCullum did have a disagreement. I think if they were fully aligned in a time when England were losing heavily, maybe that would be more cause for an alarm.
British record holder Dina Asher-Smith and Olympic 100 metres champion Julian Alfred are set to feature in the sprint programme at this summer's Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. English sprinter Asher-Smith is aiming to win her first individual Commonwealth gold. St Lucia's Alfred claimed 100 metre gold and 200 metres silver at the Paris Olympics in 2024. At Speedway now, it's not just Ipswich Town that have enjoyed an East Anglian derby double of late. The Ipswich Witches, under their new ownership and management team, have started the season with a knockout cup win over Kings Lynn Stars. Last night, the Suffolk side took a 10-point lead to Norfolk for the second leg and won that by 47 points to 43, so a 97 points to 83 victory on aggregate. And new manager Paul Hurry is pleased with how he's settling in.
Yeah, I'm starting to find my feet. Obviously, it's a whole new adventure for myself and obviously the management. But yeah, no, everything's settling in well and the boys are getting on well, all gelling. And as you can see, the results are sort of starting to come.
Yeah, you couldn't have asked for a better start, could you?
Not really. Obviously, the riders, we all know each other. At some point, we've rode together or we've done sort of some communication. Yeah, a good start, and it's like the ball keeps rolling.
Brilliant performance from Tom Brennan, Paul. What impressed you about him?
Tom's always impressed me. He's ever so sort of professional. He does put quite a bit of pressure on himself to do well. But we had a bit of a chat before the meeting last night and yeah, he explained a few things. And yeah, obviously that goes to show what he's capable of last night. So hopefully things start moving forward for him and for the team.
Listen, away from the Cup, the league starts on Monday. And I suppose the league is completely different to Cup meetings.
It is. That's where the focus is. I'm not saying it's not focused on the cup meetings, but obviously the league is the important one. And it's going to be a hard start away to Bellevue. But yeah, we'll go with an open mind. The boys know what they're capable of. We know what they can do. And let's see what happens.
Ipswich Witches team manager Paul Hurry speaking to Wayne Bavin on our breakfast programme this morning after his side's knockout cup win over Kings Lynn, winning the home leg on Thursday and the away leg by 47 points to 43 last night. So looking ahead next Monday for the Witches Premiership opener on the road at Bellevue, and the next home meeting is Thursday week at home to Northampton, another knockout cup meeting at Vauxhall Stadium. Portsmouth 2, Ipswich Town 0 in our full match commentary in match night tonight. Andy from Edwardstone says, like Corporal Jones used to say, don't panic. We will come out of this game with at least a point. We'll be back at Fratton Park for the second half shortly. Just going to finish our half-time break with some rugby, because in the Women's Six Nations, England began the defence of their title, beating Ireland by 33 points to 12 at Twickenham on Saturday. It was the Red Roses' first match since they became world champions in September, and it was their 34th consecutive Test win. The game was played in front of a record Women's Six Nations crowd of 77,120 at the Alliance Stadium. England's taliswoman Ellie Kildunn scored one of their 5 tries and spoke to the BBC's Joe Curry.
Ellie, congratulations on the win. You didn't quite have it all your own way today. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, look, it's the first game of the Six Nations. As an England team, we want to evolve, and you're going to make mistakes doing that. We've got a lot to be proud of today. Playing in front of almost a sold-out Allianz Stadium, beating a very good Irish team. That's something to celebrate. Yes, there's going to be a lot to go back and look at and review, and we know that there's teams that are going to be coming after us as well. But I'm really proud of the girls. We had to get ourselves unstuck at times, me especially. And to find that dark place and to keep on going is a skill in itself. So, yeah, proud of the girls and bring on next week.
First time back here in a playing capacity since the World Cup final. What were those emotions like stepping back out on this grass?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things you can never replicate a game that's happened before. The World Cup final was a moment that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. And I don't think I want to compare the two things. This is a Six Nations, not a World Cup. It's a few months on now. But we're going to start getting used to this. We nearly sold out then, we're nearly sold out now. This is just going to become a norm. So it was amazing to see the veto up on the, well, in front of the, apparently the cheap seats that couldn't see us doing the anthems, but it was brilliant for us to see, and I think it shows where the women's game's going, so long may it last.
Lovely try from you today, but how frustrated were you with that first half opportunity that just slipped through your fingers?
Yeah, I mean, it's all on me. I just dropped the ball. It's literally as simple as that. I feel like people kind of want an explanation as to what happened, something tactical, and I just dropped the ball. And I think that shows that at the end of the day, we are just people and mistakes will happen. And we always talk about how quick you can recover when these mistakes happen. So, you know, we have a lot of trust in the team. We know that that's not the defining moment. You've got to get back on the saddle and go again. And I had the people around me that trusted me, and it was one of those things. I actually brushed my shoulders off. I was like, okay, need to go again. There's a couple more mistakes that happened, but, you know, everyone stayed really close together, and at the end of the day, we won.
As you say, a performance, it's the first round. It wasn't perfect, but a win is a win. But it probably did push you closer than you're expecting, because it's not a wake-up call exactly, but just sort of remind England that they're not going to have it all their own way this tournament.
No, I think we're really honest with ourselves. We know that people are going to be coming after us. You know, we're not complacent as a team. We know that we've got to keep on evolving and keep on getting better. And we're our own worst enemy at that. You know, we're going to catch ourselves out at times, and I think we probably were our own worst enemy at times today. So, yeah, full respect to the teams that we play, but we really focus on ourselves as the Red Roses team. And like I said, we'll review to try and get better and make sure we don't make the mistakes like this time.
Well done today. Well done.
No more dropping the ball over the line.
Ellie Kill done with Joe Curry after a winning start to the Women's Rugby Six Nations for England against Ireland at the weekend. They're away at Scotland this coming Saturday. Wales v France and Ireland versus Italy. Just got 9 o'clock with match night on BBC Radio Suffolk. Ipswich Town were 2-0 up at half-time at the weekend. Believe it or not, they are trailing by the same scoreline away at struggling Portsmouth tonight. Let's get back to our commentary team, Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley.
Yeah, Town have been out unchanged. No great surprise that, I guess, for probably a couple of minutes now. Still no sign of Portsmouth. Town in the half off to our left-hand side, kicking a couple of balls around. There are some stewards still out there as well, some of the Portsmouth substitutes. The referee is ready to go, but still no sign of John Mousinho's man. Town, then, unchanged since the start of this 8 o'clock kick-off. Walton will be in the goal off to our left. The back four of Furlong, O'Shea, Kipre and Greaves. Matthew Siwa alongside Neil. Then it's McAteer, Nunez and Clark across the park, with George Hurst up top. On the bench, Palmer, Johnson, Taylor, Kiyuste, Agali, Mameti, Akpom, Philogene and Athon. If you weren't with us in the first half, No Leaf Davis, who's just become a father in recent days, so I'd imagine he'll be back for Middlesbrough on Sunday. Full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk of that midday kick-off. As you probably gathered from the applause in the background, Portsmouth are now out readying themselves for the start of the second half. Schmidt is their goalkeeper in all yellow off to our right. His back four is Devlin, Poole, Shocknessy, a goal scorer, and Williams. Pack, the captain, and Dazelle are the sitters in midfield. And Segicic, Swift and Ali, and behind the other goal scorer, Bishop. On the bench, Bursick, Deere, Blair, Brown, Bowett, LaRue, Waddingham, Anderson and Bianchi. Play underway in this second half. Portsmouth in blue shirts, white shorts and red socks getting play underway. Town in red shirts, red shorts and blue socks tonight, trailing, as Graham just said, by 2-0. Bishop before tonight had 1 in 16. He's had a terrible season in front of goal, but as I said during that first half, that's now his 7th goal against Ipswich Town. That's a remarkable return for him, and it's given Pompey a fair old grip on this game. Hurst battling for the ball against Shocknessy, getting nothing. It's back to Schmidt in front of the travelling thousands supporting Ipswich Town. Long downfield from Schmidt, headed away by Kipre. Clark is there. He loses the ball to Devlin. Segicic. Devlin was caught late. He's struggling a bit. Pack comes in field, and the ball is now back with Schmidt outside his penalty area. Goes without saying that Town have to get the 3rd goal of this game. Greaves sees the ball bounce over him, clears it out away from Segicic on the far side for a throw to Pompey.
Yeah, I think Kieran has obviously had his say in the dressing room at half-time, and he's basically going to leave it to his starting 11 to sort themselves out and make an improvement in this half. But if they don't do it within 15 minutes, then I think we'll see a number of changes, because this has not really been good enough at either end of the pitch. You know, forwards have not done enough. The defence have given away 2 soft goals. So, you know, he won't be happy with any part of the team.
Throw in for Portsmouth on the far side. There's a little break there whilst McMills was chatting, just to check on the potential injury to Devlin, but he's okay to soldier on. Pack, the captain, takes the throw in short, trying to catch Ipswich Town out. Segicic gives it back to Pack. In comes a good looking cross, maybe an opportunity. It's still inside there. In the end, Walton gathers it up. My heart was in my mouth for a second there, wondering whether that ball might end up in the back of his net again, but thankfully it didn't.
It was actually a super ball in, so it needed some decent defending on the end of it.
Portsmouth with just 1 win in their last 12 midweek games. Ipswich Town with just 1 defeat in their last 12 midweek games. Both to Charlton. That was the solitary Pompey win in midweek. And of course the only defeat that Town have had so far midweek this season was at home to Charlton, where we are in 8 days' time. Still Kieran McKenna's only ever midweek defeat in the EFL. That one to Charlton. But he's staring down the barrel of a second one here. December 21 was the last time Town lost a midweek away game in the Football League. Here is Furlong with this throw-in. He goes back to Dara O'Shea. Put the ball forward to Matthew Siwa. He then plays the ball to Neil. Kipre is with the ball for Ipswich Town. Nunez is making a run through the middle. Kipre spotted him. Has he stayed onside? The flag has stayed down for the minute. Lovely control from Nunez. He's given it to McAteer inside the area. Driving to the byline. McAteer's cross comes in low. There's alert to it. And he's dropped down on the ball. There's some concern about McAteer. He's hit an advertising board off to our right-hand side. Williams is checking that he's okay, and I think he is. Yeah, he's up on his feet.
Yeah, it's a good move down the right-hand side. Nunez did well. Ball goes to McAteer, and he can't quite get daylight around his marker to get a decent cross into the box. He could only sort of literally hit the ball from the byline into the keeper's arms, so he couldn't get that ball back where the attackers were.
Only had back-to-back wins once this season, Portsmouth. That was in February. They beat Charlton and Millwall, but goodness me, to do it against Middlesbrough and Ipswich would be something else. O'Shea, the ball comes off its back. He's being impeded. The referee spotted that. Free kick to Ipswich outside Walton's penalty area. So yeah, Town have got Middlesbrough at home on Sunday, Charlton away a week tomorrow, then it's West Brom at the Hawthorns a week on Saturday. 2 weeks' time, we're along the coast at Southampton. And then that weekend, Town round things off against QPR. As Furlong just keeps the ball in down below us. O'Shea gives it back towards Furlong. Furlong down the line looking for McAteer. Challenged by Williams. McAteer goes down. Nunez comes away with the ball. Spins on it. Gives it to Matthew Siwa. Infield towards Clark. In goes the challenge of Poole. Portsmouth win it back. Poole has the ball once again. Portsmouth goalkeeper. Schmidt clears it long downfield. Cedric Kipre back to Walton, appeals for handball against Kipre, not given. O'Shea down this touchline looking for McAteer. He's had a play for a throw.
Yeah, we're really being pressed high up the pitch by Portsmouth, and they're doing a good job, and it's making us play probably more quickly than what we want to play.
The attendance 20,251, 2,190 Ipswich Town supporters. Good away supporters ever, as Ben Johnson warms up on the near side for Town, the left back turned right winger in the last couple of games for Town. Thrown on the far side for Portsmouth down their right in this second period. The overall attendance 20,251. Driving forward is McAteer, giving the ball to Hurst, who loses it between his feet. Not good from him. Pack brings it away for Portsmouth. Tucks it back to Shaughnessy, who scored that free header from a corner to get the ball rolling. Williams with a pass back to Schmidt. Quite heavy rain now at Fratton Park. As Furlong goes after the ball. You can see it leave a trail on the floor. Matasiwa up the halfway line to Nunez. Early forward from Nunez looking for Clark. Devlin's gone all the way across the field with his man. Good play from Devlin. Bishop dives towards the ball, appeals for a foul, not given. Nunez can't control the ball. Pack sends it long. Out of his area comes Walton, has to use his chest to take it away. It was never handballed, despite the fans protesting. O'Shea took an almighty risk against Bishop. He could have pretty much tapped into an open net. Lovely play from O'Shea forward to Hurst. Hurst can't control it, and it's Shaughnessy who touches it back to the goalkeeper Schmidt.
Yeah, it was a bit of a risk.
Kipre loses the ball. Here come Portsmouth. Segicic, it runs to Bishop, still work to be done. Bishop into the path of Pack. That was a real chance for Portsmouth. It hasn't come to anything. The layoff from Bishop, and it's directly at Pack as he's running onto it. It was too difficult to deal with. Furlong goes back to Walton. Walton up in the air. Corey McKenna looks drenched down below us. Little shimmy from Poole. Takes it away from Clark. Portsmouth trying to fight fire with fire. We've got Segicic in behind. The flag has stayed down. He tries to pull it back. Shot from Bishop, blocked. Comes out to Nunez. Thankfully not a Portsmouth player. Doesn't seem to go to sleep at the back again. That would have been an awful concession of another goal. Schmidt way out of his area. Sends it long. It should go all the way through to Christian Walton.
Well, I think we were sort of expecting an offside decision there, but he wasn't offside. Our right side of defence have played the guy onside. Over on the right side, so the linesman got it right.
Taylor might be coming on. A bit of a movement from Mehmeti and Philogene as well. Nunez for Ipswich Town, trailing 2-0 at Portsmouth. Gives the ball to the right-hand side, and McAteer looks up, thought about the left-footed cross. He's held on to it instead as he's gone square. Back eventually to Kipre. The changes are coming for Ipswich Town. Heavy rain now here, as Kipre inside his own half has the ball for Ipswich Town. If you weren't with us earlier on, both goals coming in the final 3 or 4 minutes of the first half, really. Shaughnessy and then Bishop. Good to see one from Ipswich's Greaves. Gives it back to Neil. Neil walks into the centre circle, plays it to O'Shea. Now out to the right-hand side, Furlong. Down the line to McAteer. Still not asking too many questions in the final third. Neil sees the good run of Greaves, nicely picked out by the Sunderland man. Chested down by Greaves, who gives it back to Clark outside the Portsmouth area. He's forced away by Devlin. Matasiwa, 40 yards from goal, plays it square to Nunez. Nunez looks up, back to Matasiwa it goes. He chips it through a little gap to Furlong, on towards McAteer. Clearly having his shirt tugged by Williams inside the area. He got away with it. Furlong down the right-hand side. Ball in field to Nunez. Lots of blue shirts. Now all 10 of them behind the ball. No way through for Ipswich Town just yet. Patient build-up play. Greaves gets it from Kipre. Back it goes to the number 4. Kipre looks up but finds Matasiwa. Matasiwa to Furlong. Pressure from Ipswich. Nice 1-2 between Furlong and McAteer. Furlong challenged by Ali. His touch takes the ball out behind as he ends up on the deck. Furlong. Goal kick.
Yeah, we were appealing for a foul, but it was a real good old-fashioned shoulder charge there that put McAteer down. But we're pushing the game, we're taking the game to Portsmouth. This is what we've got to do. You know, we've got to sort of be patient, really. You know, keep possession of the ball and don't take too many risks on it. But make sure that we end up getting a cross or a shot in. You know, let's get some reward for patient play. But at the moment, you know, I think the game is going towards the Portsmouth defensive end.
Here come the changes. Philogene, Mehmeti and Johnson coming on as Shaughnessy cushion volleys the ball back to Schmidt. Schmidt doesn't take any chances. Up towards halfway. Still 2-0 Portsmouth ahead. Segicic back to halfway and Pack. Pack thought about the switch, instead he's given it short to number 21, Dazelle. Back to Pack. Pack forward up towards Colby Bishop. He tries to flick it on to Dazelle, who got forward. O'Shea up towards McAteer. McAteer gets it through a huddle of 3 players. Strong flying challenge from Poole. Great decisive defensive work from him. There is Segicic. Doesn't look unlike Connor Chapman, similar build and height, number 10 of Portsmouth. Yeah, that's the 3 that are coming on. Left-footed forward from Schmidt. Furlong glances the header back towards Walton. And we are 11 and a half minutes into this second half, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Kieran McKenna not waiting till the hour mark for these changes. Furlong trying to put McAteer in behind. It looks a decent ball. No, well read by Williams. Massive spray of water went up as Williams slid to make sure of that ball. Down goes Ali, free kick given by Mr. Halam. Here come those changes. Philogene, Mehmeti and Johnson. As Dara O'Shea comes across for a word with Kieran McKenna. Azor Matusiwa is one of those players being replaced. So Nunez will go into midfield with Mehmeti in the 10, one would have thought. So the other changes are number 19, Furlong, is coming off to be replaced by Johnson. Don't know quite why Johnson's gone to left back. Dara O'Shea gone to right back.
I don't see that.
It's a fascinating change. And Philogene come on for Neil. Is that right? No, Neil's still on the field. Try and work out who Philogene has come on for.
Clark.
McAteer. McAteer has gone off. So, Johnson's gone to left back. Dara O'Shea's gone to right back. Kipre and Grieve seem to be the two centre-halves, unless kind of gone with a, interesting change. Let's see how this thing develops. Johnson heads the ball out on the far side. We'll throw into Portsmouth. What do you make of that change, Mick? It's interesting anyway.
Very interesting. One or two that, you've got to sort of wonder why. You've got Dara O'Shea now out of position at right back. That's a gamble. You've got Jack Clark staying on the pitch. Philogene has come on, taken up the left-sided position, but Jack Clark now is in what you would term his inferior position, wide on the right. So there's one or two sort of gambles there.
Well, I guess needs must. Yeah, it's the same system by the looks of things. Ali picks up a good ball from Shaughnessy, crossing a ball into the box, a chance for a third goal. Segic with a header. Oh, must be all of 5'6". He's put it wide, but it was a fantastic opportunity for Portsmouth to well and truly take this game away from Ipswich Town.
Well, the ball was fabulous. The pass into the box was really good. The header was a poor one.
Should have done so much better. Even with his lack of height, it was a very straightforward header. What it should. I don't know if he's ever scored a header goal in the past, but it was a great opportunity. So yeah, this reshaped Ipswich Town back line has Kipre still at centre half alongside Greaves. He's on the ball now to the right back, O'Shea. O'Shea first time forward down the line, straight out of play. Kieran McKenna scratching his head down below us. Still got more than half an hour to play in this game, but they've hardly peppered Schmidt's goal in the last 14 and a half minutes, it has to be said.
I mean, this could come off, but when I look at our back four, I think three of the back four players are in secondary positions.
Ball forward towards Hurst, who's definitely in his primary position, still up top. Boy, to Town need a goal. Ali for Portsmouth, trying to hit Ipswich Town on the break. Segic was available if he'd spotted him. Ali on the run, trying to get the better of O'Shea. It's going to be a test for O'Shea, who is quick. There's no slouch, Dara O'Shea. He's done excellently well there. Really good play from the captain. To Philogene. New left-sided partnership. Johnson's on the overlap. Philogene's carried the ball. He's given it to Johnson. Wide left outside the Portsmouth area. Here comes his cross deep towards the far post. Clark heads it into the middle. Volleyed away by Shaughnessy. It's a throw to Dara O'Shea. Kieran McKenna out of view for a second, now back and visible down below us. Here is Neil playing alongside Nunez now, who he's found with a square pass. Nunez to the far side and Johnson. 61 minutes played. Sloppy from Town. Out for a throw to Portsmouth.
I look at this lineup and it's everything about it is a real out-and-out gamble. I know we're 2-0 down, but there still is a long way to go to the end of the game, and I'm not sure whether we warranted a gamble in all across the back four, across the midfield as well. it's just interesting.
Yeah, time will tell. Still those 2 first-half goals from Portsmouth, only 2 we've seen so far. It's now turned into a very wet and miserable evening on the south coast. Greaves to Kipre. Greaves through a little gap into midfield, and Neil in the centre circle. To the right-hand side, Mehmeti just on his first touch. Carry the ball maybe 20 yards. Now Clark, then on this near side, the right. Forward from Neil, picking out Anis Mehmeti. Mehmeti goes towards Nunez. On the left-hand side, Johnson with a little bit of space. Johnson tucks the ball back though to Nunez. Nunez looked at the Portsmouth area, hasn't played it there. He's gone short to Neil. Neil to the D. Nice touch from Hurst. Mehmeti shoots, block, might get another bite at it. Cleared up to the halfway line and beyond, where Walton passes it to Cedric Kipre. Infield from Kipre to Mehmeti. Poor touch from Mehmeti. Down goes Dazelle. I think Eggerly about to come on for Ipswich. Guess for Clark, but nothing certain tonight. Jack Taylor maybe as well. Taylor had a long talking to before those substitutions were made by one of Kieran McKenna's backroom staff.
Yeah, I think it'll be Eggerly for Clark, but I really sort of can't. Maybe he's worried about Nunez and Neil together in the sort of the defensive side of the midfield.
Probably want to leave one substitute up his sleeve for later on in the game if needed. Kieran, I'd be amazed if he goes with 2 right now. Certainly Eggerly is getting some instructions from Mark Hudson. 2-0 Portsmouth lead on BBC Radio Suffolk. O'Shea showed too much of the ball to Ali, then fouled him. Free kick to Portsmouth. Ignoring whatever Jack Clark's trying to say to him. He's got plenty to say for himself at the moment by the looks of things. 19 gone in the second half. And this wasn't in the script. Never going to be straightforward in terms of a comfortable night for Ipswich Town, but I think most of us thought they'd come here and get at least a draw, and who knows, they might. A lot of people understandably thought, yeah, we can go there and win. We can go there and beat Portsmouth. We can build on Birmingham and Norwich. Looking less and less likely as these minutes tick by that they're going to go on and score 3 goals, Ipswich. One would be nice. Bishop. Ball's out far side for a throw into Ipswich Town. It's Johnson over on the far side, short to Neil. Neil touched it back to Johnson. Johnson drifts away from Bishop. Infield to Neil. That was a bit risky from Johnson, but he was being held by Swift, who's down Neil. He's been on the ball a great deal, Swift. Kipre to Mehmeti. Clark, infield to Nunez. Hurst wants it in behind. He's played it to Nunez. Good play from Town. Hurst flashes a ball across the area. Chested down by Philogene inside the Portsmouth area. Gets to the byline and it comes, but out it goes behind. Off a Portsmouth defender. Town have won the first corner kick of the second half.
Yeah, great play down the right-hand side. The ball to go sort of right to the back post was a good one because Philogene was more available than anybody else, and we were a bit unlucky there to sort of progress it.
Nunez on this corner kick for Ipswich Town. 20 minutes gone in the second half. They still trail Portsmouth by 2 goals to 0. Nunez is in front of the 2,000 Ipswich fans, headed away by Ali. Loaded forward by Clark into the area. Ali it is, who this time passes it out short. Cleared partially by Devlin, but Ipswich in red are back on it and pushing forward with Mehmeti. Mehmeti square to Johnson. Johnson gives it to Philogene. Philogene might have a go. Edge of the box, too many players in the way. He's managed to ride a couple of challenges. Philogene to Clark. Clark's cross comes off the hip of Devlin. Cleared downfield by Segicic. Christian Walton on the edge of his box. What a win this would be for Portsmouth. Absolutely huge. Talk about how Millwall and Middlesbrough fans have been enjoying this scoreline. Fans of Leicester and Oxford and Blackburn certainly won't be. Philogene on the left wing, edge of the Portsmouth area. Little back heel to Johnson. Johnson on his right foot gives it back to Philogene. He stands on the ball. Back to the left and Johnson. Johnson has targets to hit in the middle. It comes his cross deflected to Schmidt on the near post. Collective shout of handball from the away fans, but sadly no chance.
Yeah, this is a real backs to the wall job by Portsmouth at the moment, and I think really a little bit too early. You know, sort of if they gift Town too much possession, they'll gift them a chance as well.
Mehmeti on the right-hand side has Clark in close proximity. Comes in field and gives it to Nunez. Nunez has a shot. It's on target, but straight at Schmidt. So no harm done to Portsmouth's clean sheet.
Yeah, pretty much the first one on target tonight, but I just think this might just play into our hands, the fact that Portsmouth have really and truly sat off and allowing Town to have a large chunk of the possession.
Portsmouth have the ball inside the Ipswich Town half of the field with Pack trying to get away from Nunez. In the end, plays it back to Shaughnessy on halfway. There's a movement from the Portsmouth bench. John Mousinho just going to shake things up a little bit. Of course, they've had that long tiring trip up to Middlesbrough at the weekend as well. It's in their legs as the ball flies over the top of Ali. And it's out for a throw that O'Shea gets back to Walton. 1/4 of this game to go on BBC Radio Suffolk. Ipswich Town going to be heading into this massive game against Middlesbrough on Sunday off the back of the defeat. Long downfield from Kipre. Shaughnessy read it as Mehmeti went in behind. Shaughnessy clears towards O'Shea. O'Shea's cushioned header to Neal. Back now with Dan Neal. Lots of blue shirts between him and the goal off to our right, sadly. Keshi Anderson, a wide player. He's been playing wide left of late. He's about to come on. Chuba Akpom coming on for Town, perhaps. Greaves to Philogene. Philogene brought down. Wins a free kick. Taken quickly. The referee's happy with that. Johnson to Philogene. Philogene wants to take on Segicic. Ball into the centre isn't a particularly good one. Controlled by Pack. Passed away by him. Swift. In flies the challenge. Which the referee's happy with from Neal. Out to the left-hand side. And Ali. Chance for him to run one-on-one with Dara O'Shea. Portsmouth lead 2-0. Forward they come again. Ali skips in field. Important little touch from Clark. Now Pack holds Clark off. Gives it back to the halfway line. It is Chuba Akpom's going to be the fourth change for Ipswich. And Sindrawalla Eggley, as predicted, is going to be joining him. Pack for Portsmouth. Still no further goals in the second half. All the damage done late in the first. Portsmouth are at the moment 21 minutes less than that away from a massive victory. Glorious, remarkable few days for them. Bishop with a touch onto Segicic. Flag has gone up against him as he went round Walton, who then went down very easily. But it's a free kick at the back to Ipswich Town. Here come the changes. First one for Portsmouth is that Swift is going off and Anderson is coming on. Segicic might go into the 10. And here come the alterations for Ipswich Town as well. As I say, Akpom and Eggley are up off the away bench. And this will be the 11 that ends the game. Clark is making way for Eggley down the right-hand side, as you would expect. Just one goal in 15 games from open play, Clark, at the moment. And Neal makes way for Akpom.
Wow.
Two up front, shocker.
Well,
wow.
It looks like that. Akpom going close to Hurst, and then you're leaving Nunez and Neal. It's Nunez and Mehmeti, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, wow, they're both 10s. They're both best positions of 10. They're playing in 8s.
Kieran McKenna's gone for it, and rightly so. Eggley to Akpom. Good chance for these two players to make a positive impression. Akpom's done well to find Eggley on this near side. His first experience of Fratton Park. Eggley's gone back to O'Shea. O'Shea up towards Hurst on a gallop, but it's going to go beyond him. Shaughnessy tidies up with a touch inside his area to Schmidt. 19 minutes for this experimental Ipswich Town team to get something from this game. Akpom. Haven't seen him much of late. Chuba. Akpom to Mehmeti on the left-hand side. Johnson just outside the Portsmouth area. Can Town get a goal back now? Plays it to Philogene. Philogene wanted too long to set himself up. Portsmouth didn't allow him the luxury. Bishop to the right-hand side for Devlin. Devlin can only play it forward down the line, but to no one in particular. Here is Cedric Kipre. 27 minutes gone in the second half, live on BBC Radio Suffolk. We'll start the build-up to Sunday's full match commentary on the matchday preview between 6 and 7 on Friday night with Graham. John Walk will be on as ever. Segicic trying to play it in behind for Bishop. Bishop nudged off the ball by Greaves. Nothing wrong with that, correctly says the referee. A number of home fans disagree. Nunez, pretty much the one-man midfield now. Gives it to Kipre. Kipre down the line for Egley. Terrible pass from Kipre. Onto it was Williams. Williams then skips away from Kipre. Good run down the left-hand side by the full-back, edge of the Ipswich area. Plays it square. Went beyond Bishop. Segicic might get on the ball. Tries to wrestle it away from Mehmeti. He's done that. Sets up Pack, who gets underneath that. And I think he might have kicked the ball out of the stadium. Certainly gone out of view for a long, long time, but that was another chance for Portsmouth there.
Yeah, I mean, that is a chance, you know, from outside the box. It was an awful shot. I mean, it missed by an absolute mile, but generally speaking, they do hit the target.
Cap in front of me, he's already written his headline, Pompey bolster survival hopes with Ipswich win. He's not convinced that Town are going to get anything from this game. 2-0 behind, and I can't understand that sentiment. Schmidt's not had a great deal to do all night, really. Two terrible bits of defending from Ipswich Town. And, looking more and more likely to have settled this one. Real shame, given how quite rightly they're defending. I was given so much praise at the weekend, and all season has been very, very good. Greaves finding Johnson back to the centre spot. Missed opportunity this for Town if they can't get anything. Kipre ambles forward, gives the ball to O'Shea. Back it goes to Kipre. And now Walton. Short to Greaves. Greaves forward, looking for Philogene. Little nod down, might reach Philogene. No, Portsmouth get it away. Anderson with a flick. Back to Dazelle. Dazelle to pull out to this left-hand side. Nodded on by Ali. He's gone down holding his left ankle. He's going to get back up there and carry on. O'Shea to Cedric Kipre. Forward it comes from him. Johnson with a little touchdown. Mehmeti running at the Portsmouth area, inside the area, and he pulls a shot just wide. From 17 yards in a central position.
Yeah, he's got himself into a really good position. He should do better. He certainly should hit the target. But when you see any of our back four players on the ball, if they can't find Nunez with it, we can't progress through the midfield. You know, we then have to go all the way around the sides because, you know, the other two that are playing anywhere near the midfield, Mehmeti and Akpom, are running away from the ball.
Schmidt, right-footed with this clearance up over the halfway line. Nodded on by Bishop, brought down by Anderson, former Blackpool player. Foul on him by Cedric Kipre. It's a free kick to Portsmouth, a good distance out. Far too far out to score from, surely. And we are still 2-0 to Portsmouth. Southampton still beating Blackburn, incidentally, by 2-0. What a run they're on at the moment, the Saints. Just now a point behind Millwall and only 3 behind Ipswich Town. Southampton, albeit Town have got a game in hand on them. Free kick to Portsmouth. Pack puts it into the Ipswich area, headed away powerfully by O'Shea. Out as far as Anderson. Anderson with the ball forward. Southampton still fancying their chance of making top 2, I bet. O'Shea to the halfway line, brought down by the right-hand step of Williams. Williams passed it forward, great play. Nice spot, pulled and stayed forward from the initial set piece. Anderson, now Ali on the left-hand side into the Ipswich area. Gives it short to Segicic. Took too many touches to get it under control. Eventually did, though, Segacic, under pressure from Egli. Then he lost his footing. Ball goes back to Anderson. Anderson up against Egli. Finds Williams. Ali down the left flank for Portsmouth. Left-footed cross deep beyond the far post. No one's there in blue. Throw to Town at left back.
No, there's one player in the penalty area and he drives it in there. He really should have had a look. He had plenty of time to look, but he didn't look. He tried to play the cross in blindly, and we get a throw in on the far side.
Crossfield ball from Johnson's an excellent one. Great pick out of Egli on the halfway line. Egli can't get the better of Williams. Williams has sprung into life of late. He's got away from the Norwegian, but run into O'Shea. O'Shea touches the ball in field, then skips away from Anderson. O'Shea now playing it right back, remember. Good switch up. That's excellent play from the captain. Really good. Picking out Philogene. Philogene's going to try and wriggle away from Devlin. Not having much joy. Devlin has a little tug at his shirt. 32.5 minutes played. Town still 2-0 behind. So disappointing, this. Lametti on the left wing. In comes his cross over the top of Hurst. Williams should get a shout. He does, and he's let the ball come across his chest and go out of play.
Yeah, good defending by Portsmouth, purely and simply because they must have talked to one another. They've seen the cross come in, it's going to nobody. Good shout, defender leaves it for a goal kick. But this is desperate times, really. I think that if we could sneak one, I think then the pressure would really sort of be put on Portsmouth to get it to the end of the game without conceding a game. But the hard part is creating the opportunity to get the one goal back, and at the moment we don't look as if we're going to do it.
Headed on for Portsmouth, maybe a chance in behind. No, Walton was alert. Good play from him. So we might be going from one of Ipswich Town's best wins of the season to one of their worst losses, given where Portsmouth are in the table and the opportunity afforded to Ipswich Town ahead of this one. Here is Marcelino Nunez trying to get Town back into this game. Mametti to the left-hand side. Philogene. Town trail 2-0. Philogene's on the edge of the Portsmouth area. Still hasn't found room for a shot. Gives it back to Nunez. Town can score now. Well, you never know. In comes a right-footed delivery from Johnson. The header goes out behind for a corner kick to Ipswich.
Yeah, a little chance we can pile the big boys forward, and we've got plenty of boys, the back four, for instance, are all of a good height and good in the air as well.
Johnson, surprisingly for me, isn't lending his height to the attack.
That does surprise me.
He's fulfilling the Matusiwa role, hanging about waiting to see if there's a counter-attack from Portsmouth. Better served in the penalty area for me. Corner kick to Ipswich. Nunez on it. You feel they've got to score from moments like this if they're going to get anything from the game. In it comes. Headed away by Shocknessy, who headed into that net in the first half. Nunez shoots towards the far corner, but it was way too wide high and didn't have enough bend.
Yeah, I don't know really why he tried that. That's his poorer foot, it just helped the ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. That's where we had sort of bodies, and that's where the ball should have gone.
So Town are, of course, remaining second in the table. Nobody's going to change that tonight, but this is one of their 2 games in hand, and on paper at least by far the easier of the 2. Southampton the other one in a fortnight. By that time there could be 20 odd games unbeaten. Southampton. Johnson, but the run will end at some point. Johnson finds Hurst. Excellent play from Hurst. That's really strong, dogged play on the halfway line. Then he's found Egli, superb from the number 9. What can Egli do inside the area? He shoots towards the near post, blocked off by Williams. Back it comes to Nunez. He kind of lost the ball between his feet, then he's totally lost it. He brings down Anderson. It's going to be a yellow card for Marcelino Nunez. First one for anyone in this game.
Yeah, that's where he's really a player that enjoys positions further forward than that. He's in a very responsible, deep-lying centre midfield position, and he's got to play percentage football.
We've got 9 minutes to go. We are staying up, rings around Fratton Park, and giving themselves a heck of a chance of doing so. Beat Leicester on Saturday here, and that's a massive step towards it. Headed square by Bishop. cleared away by Nunez. As I said, what a couple of wins these would be for Portsmouth. Good play, Bishop to Pack, whose first time ball was a good one to Ali, but he was offside. We'll hear from Kieran McKenna before 11 o'clock tonight. Match night on air till 11, but if you want to give us your thoughts on BBC Radio Suffolk, call 0800 141 2121. I'll tell you the text numbers and stuff in a second, because Philogene on the run now is held up. Yellow card, that for Devlin. 81333 is the text number. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Start your WhatsApps, SFK as well. Your thoughts very welcome. We'll hopefully hear from an Ipswich Town player as well. Jacob Brown, a striker, coming on for Portsmouth. Nunez across the field to Egley. Egley's header goes into the area, but comfortably back to Schmidt. 7.5 minutes to play. So poor, this scoreline. Long kick from Schmidt. Headed back to his keeper by Greaves, helped on by Kipre. That's slightly wrong-footed Walton for a second. That's why a few home fans got excited, but Kipre was always heading back a fair enough distance that Walton had time to readjust. The change of direction was never going to cause Walton any issues. Kipre to O'Shea. Kipre to Walton. Tells you the ball is deep inside Town's half. Now Walton goes long towards Hurst. Hurst brings it down well, but in goes the challenge of Shaughnessy. O'Shea down the line to Hurst. A miserable return for him to this part of the world. Hurst battling for the ball, loses that to a combination of Ali and Williams. Ali now on a run, wants to take on Nunez, who can't jump in. Ali into the middle of the pitch, and Anderson. He goes back to Poole. Good spirited stuff from Portsmouth. 6.5 minutes away from a big win. The Town fans silenced as O'Shea heads the ball to halfway on the chest. Williams loses it. Out of play it goes for a throw-in and a change of personnel for the home team. Segicic is going off. On will come Brown. Lending, as well as fresh legs, a bit more height as well to help defend set pieces. Must be part of John Mousinho's thinking. Segicic taking his time coming off. So the damage done just before half-time. 2 quick-fire goals. Poor defending from Ipswich Town. Shaughnessy and then Bishop. Yeah, it's looking more and more likely that they've won this game for Portsmouth, sadly. Throw down the line from Williams, headed to halfway by O'Shea. Hurst tangling with Shaughnessy. Bishop gets it back to Williams. Williams off balance, puts it out near side.
Yeah, we're not really sort of making any inroads, so it's sort of, the longer it goes on, you know, the less chance we've obviously got of sort of creating something, and this is the inability to go through the centre of midfield really is doing it for us. We really do have to go around the sides to create anything.
Greaves for Ipswich Town. Final 5 minutes are underway. Johnson to Mehmeti. Mehmeti gets the ball on to Johnson. Now down that far touchline, Philogene. The block challenge from Pack is successful. Throw in to Greaves. Nunez with 4.5 minutes of the 90 to go. Schmidt still having way too little to do. Akpom to O'Shea, up towards Mehmeti. Mehmeti's trying to get away from Shaughnessy, who grasped onto his shirt. Nunez to Greaves. On the far side, Jaden Philogene turns, delivers into the middle. Flying to head it away is Poole, controlled by Nunez. Walton from just his side of the centre circle plays it out to the right to O'Shea. Good accurate pass. O'Shea with a cross in. Hurst's header is way off target. He should have done better, and he knows it.
Yeah, it was a good ball in. It was as good as you could get in from that position, and actually he had a clear header on it, George Hurst, and he's really not actually got the right contact at all, and it's gone harmlessly wide for a goal kick. It really should be hitting the target.
Goal kick to Portsmouth, as we had really towards the last knockings of this game. Such a disappointing night. 3 minutes to go. An up and under clearance, which I think has hit the roof of this stand and bounced back into play. Through to Williams. Feel sorry for those Town supporters watching on. What a result off the high of Saturday. Come the Pompey chimes as Williams gets ready to take this throw in. Disappointing all round, the nature of this evening's fare. Egley with a header, nodded forward by Dozell, touchdown by Kipre, and then the deflection takes it back to Christian Walton. Greaves running the ball out of his area up to the halfway line, and Philogene sliding in to win it is Anderson. Philogene's gone down, the referee's happy with the challenge. No problem with it. Kieran McKenna's not protesting. Wide on the right hand side, Jacob Brown, the substitute, holds it up against Johnson over in the far left corner, trying to waste time. Mehmeti has a little nibble at him. The ball's still in play. It's gone out of play off Johnson eventually for a Ipswich Town throw.
But that's still a good position. That was a beautiful ball that put the player into that corner flag area, and it wastes time.
On the right hand side, Portsmouth have the ball outside the Ipswich Town penalty area. Slice clearance from Philogene, headed away by Egley up towards Hurst. Hurst loses out to Poole. Both players end up on the deck. The referee says play on. Portsmouth win it back. Dozell to this near side, Ali plays it off Egley. Oh no, final touch came off Williams though. Just a few seconds away from the 90th minute. Here is Kipre to Greaves. Mehmeti up towards Johnson. Johnson partially tackled by Poole. Portsmouth then get the ball up towards Bishop. Bishop challenges Johnson. Ball's out of play off Johnson. It's a very rare midweek defeat for Ipswich Town. The second of the season. And of course it ends this run of 9 successive games without a loss since the crazy 5-3 at Wrexham. And after this, of course, 5 more games to go, starting with Sunday at home to Middlesbrough. Then it's 3 successive away trips before QPR on the final day. Headed on by Bishop. Anderson's after this. Across goes Kipre. Kipre's lost his footing. His clearance hits Brown. Town get it back to their goalkeeper. The board is about to go up. I thought the number of minutes would be excessive. Walton, long it goes. Can Philogene get on the ball? Not quite. There's a bit of silliness over in the far corner. Philogene, Mehmeti and a couple of Portsmouth players. The referee just getting in between them right in front of the Ipswich fans. It's calmed down now. Although Philogene's not calming down. The referee's actually holding on to Jaden Philogene at the moment. That with Devlin. Let it lie, Philogene. Referee having a good talking to him now. And amongst that, I didn't see how much added on time was being added. Gets the yellow card, Philogene.
No, I didn't see it either.
I doubt it's going to be enough. We're into it now anyway. 1 minute of it as well. 4 minutes of added on time. Just looked over somebody's shoulder. And Schmidt is going to be taking this goal kick for Portsmouth. Right-footed. Before it comes. What a different feeling at the end of a game tonight compared to Saturday. Around about 20 past 2. Left-footed jab forward pass from Portsmouth over the top of Greaves. Greaves gets it back to Walton. Walton inside his 6-yard area. Bends the ball out to O'Shea. 2.5 minutes to go. O'Shea looks for Hurst. Flag has stayed down. He's chested the ball down inside the area. Wide right now. Gives it to Eggely. Eggely left-footed, crosses towards the far post, and Philogene headed away by his marker out as far as Nunez. Can Town get a late goal now and set up the grandstand finale? Philogene, edge of the Portsmouth area, wide on the left. Wriggles forward without the ball, then touches it back towards Mehmeti. Mehmeti crosses to the far post, nodded down and cleared up and over. It was O'Shea with a header. It was on target as well. Had to be dealt with by the Portsmouth defender. Corner kick to Ipswich.
Yeah, it was a good header, good clearance.
Corner kick taken quickly. Ipswich Town with Philogene into the area. Shoots, deflected, good save from Schmidt. Not sure there was a deflection in the end. Well saved by the goalkeeper. Finally, too little too late from Ipswich Town. All of a sudden, they've belatedly found something of a goal threat.
Yeah, Philogene.
Corner kick taken, but the referee wants it to be retaken because Portsmouth are making a change. Boat is coming on for them. There's 2 best chances in the second half there. The O'Shea header and the hit from Philogene. Eggely on this corner for Ipswich Town. After 3 minutes of the added on 4, Ali is going off. He's got a bit of a live wire. Going to be replaced by Boat, the former Fulham player, Scotsman Barney Boat. So we've got a little bit of a pause while we wait for this corner kick to be taken. Kieran McKenna's thoughts to come before 11. Yours welcome 0800 141 2121. Text 81333. So that was messages SFK or WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Corner kick to Town right at the end of the game. And it comes from Eggely. Headed away by Portsmouth, not fully. Uprises Kipre in there. Portsmouth breakaway with Anderson. Greaves slides, challenges him. Free kick for the foul by Greaves on Anderson. Kieran McKenna's head drops. That was a final chance for his side to make it 2-1 with any time whatsoever left on the clock to maybe grab a late equaliser. Surely even if Town score now, they're losing this game. Their moment has gone. Free kick to Portsmouth from inside their half. What a difference a few days makes. Schmidt with this clearance as the referee puts his whistle to his lips. He hasn't quite called a halt on proceedings just yet, but now he has. It's a massive win this for Portsmouth in their bid to avoid relegation from the Championship. They go 4 points clear of the bottom 3 with this 3 points. A 2-0 victory. It's a thoroughly disappointing night for Ipswich Town off the back of the high of Carrow Road on Saturday lunchtime. What a difference a few days make. They've missed an opportunity to go 5 points clear in second place in the Championship table with this first defeat in 10 matches.
Well, it was a good for Portsmouth. This has been a marvellous few days. I mean, to go away to Middlesbrough and get yourself 3 points, and then entertain a team of Ipswich's calibre, and again get yourself 3 points when you're so close to the relegation areas. No wonder this stadium is alive, and no wonder the Portsmouth fans are really delighted with their team. But as far as Town are concerned, you know, after having that great sort of day at Carrow Road on Saturday, you did really expect far more from them tonight. You know, all it basically required was repeat the defensive performance, improve in attack, and then I think there were going to be some sort of reward for us if we managed to do those two things. But initially I thought we defended okay. We didn't look strong enough in attack. We were very watery up front. We just made 1 or 2 sort of inroads early on, but never carried it through. And then of course we conceded 2 goals very, very close to half-time. That was something that we actually managed to defend probably more situations at Carrow Road over 90 minutes than we did in that 45 minutes of this game today, and we just conceded 2 goals, and they were 2 poor goals, really. We should not have given those goals away. The first one, the Portsmouth player didn't even have to jump off the ground to head it in. That's how bad it was. And then when we went into the second half, I think that more than definite, Kieran has given the players that he decided to start the game with the opportunity to get themselves back from that awful 2-0 deficit position. And very quickly he must have decided, no, this is not going to be their night, I'm going to make changes. But when he made the changes, I thought that he probably went overboard, really, in as much that players were going into sort of secondary positions and too many of them doing it. For instance, O'Shea goes from his normal centre-back position to right-back. Kipri, who we've seen all season long lining up at left centre-back, goes to right centre-back. And then Ben Johnson comes on the pitch and he goes to left-back, which is, he plays it okay, but that's his secondary position. And then you end up with a midfield with Nunes and Mehmeti in there, playing with Akpom as well, so nobody in there is a real playmaker for me. They all enjoy the attacking part of the midfield job, but they don't enjoy the defensive part. So, I didn't think with that threesome we were ever going to get a firm grip of the game, which we needed. And we needed to get as many balls in the Portsmouth penalty area as possible to try and force this game back, try and get the 2 goals back. Apart from we had 2 little goes at doing it all in the space of 60 seconds, and that was really pretty much our best sort of efforts at goal, so not good enough basically tonight. I don't know why. I don't quite understand why we can go from where we were at Carrow Road to where we are now. It's chalk and cheese, it really is. It's just not good enough to do this, and especially when you've got this sort of prize at the end of less than a month's football. You should be able to sort of get your mind around the job that's in hand and perform to your best. You really must be able to do that. And as I say, we really... Yes, the defence looked as if they were going to repeat the performance early on, but the attack never really looked as if they could then nail Portsmouth, so that as an 11 we weren't good enough, from start to finish.
A very disappointing result for Ipswich Town tonight, losing here to Portsmouth by 2-0. The thoughts of Kieran McKenna, and hopefully an Ipswich Town player on the way before 11.
Feels like we're going to the wire again, Brenner. It's not going to be over Wednesday week, is it?
No, it's not, is it? It's classic Ipswich Town.
Yes.
I know, it's a real shame that they couldn't even get a point from this game, and Portsmouth, like Mick was kind of alluding, weren't great, far from it, but they did enough, and if you can see poor goals like that, you probably don't deserve anything, and that's the way it's turned out.